There's no intrinsic value to gold other than we say there's intrinsic value to gold.
Why this isn't just a random gamble for these young men that isn't going to come back and bite them in the ass. What's the underpinnings of it? And why is it better than just jumping on FanDuel and trying to hit a parlay on Saquon Barkley, which we won't get into?
Well, there are a lot of analogies. I'm not going to argue with that.
Right.
But think about gold. I mean, all that gold we have in Fort Knox, it's not because the United States government is betting on how much jewelry is going to be sold at Christmas.
I hope not.
Right? I mean, there's no intrinsic value to gold other than we say there's intrinsic value to gold. Gold is a store of value. And so people hope it goes up. There are some people who think that, if there's a catastrophe and the economy craters, then gold will retain its value. But it's not like you can walk around with a bar of gold and, like it's 1822 and you slice off a little sliver and you weigh it. Someone's just going to knock you out and take your bar of gold.
That's how I've been getting at the supermarket. I've been slicing my gold, getting my eggs.
A little schmeckle for you, a little schmeckle for you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let me translate that to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. Bitcoin has become a store of value. It's, marketed that way and has been marketed for the last, 15 years or whatever it is. And it's gotten to a point of acceptance, just like way, way, way back when gold got to a point of acceptance as an alternative for legal currency or as a foundation behind legal currency.
Right.
Bitcoin has kind of taken that place and it makes more sense in a lot of respects. You're not going to carry around that bar of gold, but you can carry around, your phone as an example that has Bitcoin on it. And if you need to transfer value to somebody else, it's easier to do it right now, particularly if you're 21 with Bitcoin than it is with gold. So there truly is an economic value there.
But now we have between gold and Bitcoin, there's this other thing that we have, which is currency. And is this meant to augment that, to replace that? What are the transactions that are made better by using either Bitcoin or crypto or those things? What need is it filling, I guess, is my point.
It's faster and cheaper, particularly for international exchanges. So, if you're in, pick a country, right? And you're like, Mark, I need something to spend, right? I need some money. It's a whole lot easier for me to send you, $100 in Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDC than it is in cash.
Now, is the idea then that, like what would happen with, like, say, an Apple Pay or something along those lines, that stores will begin to adopt a technology so that its use becomes more convenient, even at, like, if I'm running down to Wawa and I want to grab myself an iced tea?
No, so let's talk about two different things here.
That's two different things. Okay. But by the way, I apologize for making you do this remedially.
No, that's okay. I like it, right?
But I really don't know it so well, and I would like to know it.
So just think of Bitcoin like digital gold, period, end of story.
Oh.
It's just built on supply and demand. Only the difference is people are still mining gold and it's physical. You have to pull it out of the ground. There's a lot of cost associated with that. Bitcoin is all digital, but it's limited in the number of Bitcoins that will ever be created to 21 million.
Now, who limits that? Is there an overseeing body that makes... No.
That was part of the original plan. That's the way it was designed originally. So right now, there are about 19.8 million Bitcoin out there, minus what's been lost along the way.
How do you lose it?
So early on, you might have bought a bunch of Bitcoin in 2012 for 10 cents each, didn't think twice about it, threw away that phone, and you had 10,000 Bitcoin on it.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, so there's stories about people literally who have put hard drives into trash heaps and lost it, and now we're searching in trash piles looking for it. So, but that's Bitcoin, and it's just supply and demand that defines what it's worth. So right now the price is near $100,000. That means a lot more people are buying it than selling it. Very analogous to gold.
Right.
So then there are other cryptos. Ethereum is one that I also own a bunch of. And the difference with Ethereum is it really takes advantage of the blockchain, but it adds something called smart contracts. And what a smart contract is, it allows activity to be triggered by other activity. So for instance, I won't go into deep details, but if I want to create an NFT and use that for for books, right? Just let's say for textbooks, right?
Right.
That smart contract associated with that NFT has specific features about it. One of the unique features that are part of Ethereum and smart contracts and NFTs is they can pay royalties. So if John Stewart writes a book for a college, right, and it's a textbook on accounting, right now, it's got to be physical, and then you go to the bookstore and you buy a used copy. But
Right.
for every used copy that's sold and resold,
Or an ebook that they would download or something along
right,
those
right. Well,
lines.
that's,
Right.
the physical copies, you don't make another nickel in royalties as it's sold and resold.
Right.
If you do it as a digital version using Ethereum and a smart contract and an NFT, the royalties can be paid on and on and on and on again, as that digital textbook is resold.
Is this something that's been applied yet to music publishing? Because that seems like it would cure an awful lot of the difficulties in the royalties
sure.
of music publishing.
Yeah, and all IP for that matter. But the reality is it's only been done on a small scale. The challenge for crypto right now, in all candor, it hasn't had its Instagram moment. If you remember going back to the original App Store in 2009, I think it was, there weren't a lot of people downloading apps for their smartphones. I mean, unless you were really geeky and into it. But then all of a sudden Instagram came along and grandma and grandpa and mom and dad needed it. Then Facebook had an app. And so that really got people into smartphones and using and downloading apps. We haven't had that moment with crypto yet. That's still something that has ultimate utility for everyone and anyone. That doesn't exist yet. And that's kind of the ongoing hope. But now let's tie that back to Gary Gensler.
Right.
So all these people trying to come up with apps that run on smart contracts on top of Ethereum, Solana, whatever it may be, whatever form of crypto it may be, Gary Gensler wanted to call all forms of that a security.
Right. He wanted to regulate it like you would regulate stocks for those
Right.
that are, okay.
And in some cases, they were securities. If you're selling them to raise money for a business, that's a security. Nobody's arguing that. But if you happen to buy an NFT as a textbook, he wanted to call that a security as well. If you use your Solana or Matic or not Ethereum, but let's say Solana or Matic, two smaller cryptocurrencies, to purchase something online, he wanted to call that a security as well. And as a result, that sent a lot of developers who were trying to create these new smart contract apps out of the United States to other parts of the world, Singapore, Japan, Korea, you name it, to start companies that otherwise would have been in the United States. I had two companies that actually left the US to do their development because they could just sell to crypto enthusiasts and users in other countries and not worry about it here.